Okay, so we're back with another story time, and this time we're going to be talking about the time I think I met the love of my life in a gas station in a small town in the middle of nowhere. Because when my life isn't busy being a Tyler Perry drama, it has really cutesy Hallmark moments. Not enough to make life worth it, but just enough to make things actually kind of interesting sometimes. So, yeah. Okay, now that I just sat here and unmuted my phone twice because AirPods are a thing, um, yeah, let's get into it. I need to be dramatic as 100% possible about this, but also I need to set the scene so that way you guys understand how, like, out of the blue this was. Because if you know me in real life and you know where I live, you know that nothing of interest really happens. And, like, there are also no people of color where I live for real. Like, it's not that many of us. So for me to have met this guy when I was at the gas station, it was a whole experience. Okay? And so to set the scene, let's go back to December of 2022. I was working over at the Baymont on the south side of town. And this particular day, I was scheduled to work a double, which for the time it was not out of the ordinary because I'm a workaholic. And yeah, I was working doubles and triples like it was nobody's business because I had nothing better to do with my time. And I also like expensive shit, so there's that. Anyway, this particular day, I am working a double, and I asked my coworker Jordan if she minded if I would run to the gas station across the street. For those of you again who know me in real life, y'all know that the Chevron is walking distance to the Baymont, so I run across the street real quick to go grab my snacks. And I go get my snacks. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm in there. I have like 4 Red Bulls, a bunch of chips and candy and other junk that I don't necessarily need. But again, I'm working and I'm going to be in this hotel for somewhere between 16 and 24 hours. And I needed to be prepared. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, okay? So I'm getting my stuff, and I hear the door open. Now, mind you, I have stuff just bunched up in my arms, like, okay? And I hear the door open. I look, I see a guy walk in. Whatever, none of my business, none of my concern. I am minding my black owned business, as I tend to do. And I hear him walk in, but I'm like, whatever. I'm going to get some Sour Punch straws, okay? This is very relevant to the plot because I like sour stuff. So I'm getting my Sour Punch straws, and I go to walk out of the aisle. And if you've been in that Chevron, you know it's that middle aisle, so I can walk straight to the register. I'm going to walk out the aisle. He turns to walk into the aisle. I bump into him, and I immediately I look down. Face is red, and I'm embarrassed because, oh my God, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bump into you. Well, I make the mistake of looking up and making eye contact. Let me tell you right here, right now. I look up and I see hazel eyes and I hear a thick southern accent. That was all I needed to know. That was it. I'm not gonna say I have a type, but that's my type. Okay, so yeah. Um, and so I'm like, oh, my bad. Face turns red. I go back to looking down immediately, trying to avoid eye contact by any means necessary. And he's like, oh, you good, shorty. And he walks over towards the Red Bulls and stuff. I pay for my stuff, and I quite literally sprint out of the Chevron and back across the street to the Baymont. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, Monty, you idiot. That, like, when I made eye contact, okay, it was for that long. That long. But it was long enough for me to see myself with 2 more kids, a house with a white picket fence, and a big ass dog. Is that dramatic? Perhaps. Am I telling the truth? Also, yes. Because, like, oh my God. Now, the other thing worth noting here is that he had on one of those stupid mask things, so literally all I could see was his eyes. Like, that was it. And I'm just like, cool. I didn't ask his name, didn't try to get his number. I froze and I ran because that's what I'm good at doing. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So I run back across the street to the Baymont because Jordan is waiting on me to leave. And so I'm just like, hey girl, hey. So I get back and Jordan's like, why are you running? And I'm like, I just met the love of my life. And she's just like, I have questions, but they'll have to wait for another day. And I'm like, don't worry about it. We'll debrief later. So I'm sitting there like the genius that I am. And I start pacing back and forth because, oh my God, what was that? Also, maybe just being the slightest bit dramatic here, but like, why can I not stop thinking about it? It's not every day that I get like Hallmark moments, nor is it every day that I actually have something like of interest happen to me in this town. I digress. So I'm sitting there pacing back and forth behind the desk, and I'm talking to Echo per usual, and I'm talking to I think I was talking to the boys in the group chat because I was in a music group chat with some of my friends, and kind of just doing what I do at work, which was everything but working because the hotel was mostly fully booked because we had this fire cleanup crew staying there. Follow me, okay? So the fire cleanup crew is there, and I had made friends with the majority of the crew who would come down to the front. Hey, I need more towels. Hey, blah blah blah, whatever. So this one particular girl who was very pretty, but for privacy reasons, I will not be saying her name. But she comes down to the desk and she's like, "Hey, girl, hey," and we're talking about her nails and this, that, and the other. And so she's like, "What's gotten into you? Because you seem like antsy." And I'm like, "I met this guy with really pretty eyes and a really thick accent earlier, and I'm distraught because I'm never going to see him again." And she's like, "Girl, that's redacted." And I'm like, "What do you mean that's redacted?" And she's like, "That's redacted. You're going to meet him later." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, did you just tell me I'm going to meet my husband later?" And you calm, nonchalant, casual about it. Like, "Oh yeah, girl, like, it's no big deal." Excuse me? So I'm like, "What do you mean I'm going to meet him later?" And she's like, "He works with us. Like, he works with us. You're going to meet him. He's staying at this hotel." And I'm like, now I'm sitting here, insert the Nick Young meme, okay? Because what do you mean? And now I'm sitting here going through the guest list trying to figure out who this is. Now, she told me his nickname, not his actual name. So it's not like I could have found him anyway. Yeah, what was a girl to do, okay? I'm just a girl. So I'm sitting there and I try to find him. Can't find him. Can't figure it out. Whatever. Now I'm pacing for a completely different reason. It is what it is. You fast forward about a week, and the general manager of the hotel, her name is Christina, and I don't know where she is, but I hope she's having a terrible day and at least one of her bad breast implants pop. But she starts cutting my hours and just doing generally weird shit to mess with my hours and my schedule. I don't really care because a job is a job, and I started looking for a new one anyway because I knew that once we got a new general manager, that shit was going to start getting weird. So on a day I'm actually scheduled to work, one of the project coordinators or project managers or somebody is like, "Oh, thank God you're here. You're the only person at the front desk who, actually takes care of us and makes sure we have what we need without acting like it's a problem." And I'm like, "I'm just doing my job. I'm glad you guys like me though." And she's like, "We have an opening with the company we work for if you're looking for something else a little bit more stable, even if it is temporary." Like, she's like, "It's contract work, it's temporary, but it's more stable than the way they're playing with your hours. I'm not saying you'll get the job if you apply, but I'm sure we'd put in a good word for you." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll apply." I apply. I get fired from the hotel on Sunday, which is my day off. Monday, I start my new job working with the fire cleanup crew with my friend who I said is really pretty and allegedly working with mystery guy from the gas station. Okay, cool. As if that's not all super convenient, right? First day of work goes great. I'm having a ball and everybody's coming in the office because, I'm working in the office, and then you have pretty much everybody who was staying at the hotel who was a field technician, which is like, I guess, the equivalent I can give. So I'm sitting there and all the field techs are coming back and I'm at my desk pretending to work. I'm being busy. I'm clicking buttons on the computer to make myself look busy because it's my first day and I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing yet. And, they all come in and they're like, "Oh my God, Monty, you didn't tell us you were applying. Oh my God, Monty, we didn't know you work here. Are you working at the hotel too?" "No, I'm not. They fired me." Womp womp. And they're like, "Oh, well, now you're here with us." Having a ball. And so I'm sitting there collecting paperwork from everybody. And I'm like, "Okay, I think I got everybody's paperwork." And the lead data analyst says to me, "No, we're still missing one person." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Now, where my desk is situated, I am sitting right in front of the door. So again, I'm sitting there waiting, going over the papers, reconciling the papers against what they should be in the computer. And I hear the door open. Now, again, my desk is right in front of the door. So I look up, and lo and behold, who do I see but a person with a stupid mask on their face, and all I can see is their eyes. Right. So even though my friend had told me, "Oh yeah, you're gonna meet him, I work with him," what if she was wrong? What if that actually wasn't him? What if any other number of things? I don't really know. But again, what are the odds, okay? So we lock eyes, we make eye contact. I look down at my computer and I am suddenly super busy and super enthralled in what I am doing because, ah, like, oh no. Thankfully, he doesn't say anything to me. I don't say anything to him. He hands his paper to the lead data analyst who hands it to me. We do not speak to each other because I think both of us were just like, why are you here? I don't know. I'm going to have to ask him at some point and get his like honest to God reaction because I don't know. Anyway, we don't speak to each other. So I started that Monday. We do not talk until that Thursday. And the only reason we even started talking on Thursday was a pure accident, like of all things. This one particular Thursday, I come to work and instead of being bummy dressed down like I usually am, I am dressed to the nines. Wig, makeup, face beat, the whole nine. Wig, makeup, face beat, the whole nine. You know, nothing special, but I had an interview that day for something music related, so I needed to be dressed up. I needed to be a little bit more put together than I usually was. So again, all the field techs are out and they were out doing whatever they were doing by the time I got into work at 9. Most of them would go out into the field at like 7. I didn't come into work till 9. We'd all be in the office until like somewhere around 8:30, 9 o'clock anyway. Was I working long hours? Yes. Was the pay worth it? Also yes. Okay. But this particular day, all the girls come in and, you know, I'm gonna keep everybody's names redacted for privacy, but B, was like, oh my God, what are you all dressed up for? And, you know, and I'm like, oh, I had an interview today. And they're like, interview? You looking for a new job already? You tired of us? And I'm like, no, I'm not tired of y'all. I had an interview for something music related. And they're like, music? And I'm like, yeah. So at this point, Hazel Eyes walks in and he's like, so you make music? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And he's like, all right, bet, I want your autograph. And I'm like, don't you have paperwork to do? Go do your paperwork. Leave me alone. Because I don't know how to flirt. I am awkward. I have no riz. I have brown eyes and I'm kind of funny, but it's mostly because people don't understand I'm being serious. So he's like, no, for real, I want your autograph. I want your autograph. And I'm like, okay, go do your paperwork and then I'll give you my autograph. Bye, redacted. So he goes, he does his paperwork, whatever. He ends up coming back to my desk and he has his clipboard and he's like, here, I want your autograph. And I'm like, damn, okay, whatever. And I'm like, this is cute though. I like the way you played this. Real cute. So I'm like, all right, bet. So I give him my autograph and he's like, and write down one of your social media so that way I can be like, oh yeah, I used to work with her. I know her. Now, before y'all start laughing at me and calling me corny for falling for this, right? Again, hazel eyes, southern accent, textbook my type. I don't know what more y'all wanted from me, okay? I'm just a girl. So I write down my social media handles, and if you know me or have me on social media, which is how you're seeing this, then you know all my socials are the same. Monty the Brat with 4 T's. So I write it down, and I'm like, all right, there you go. You got my autograph. And he's like, bet. That way when you're up on stage at the Grammys, I can be like, yeah, I know her. I used to work with her. Feeding into my delusions already? Damn, that's crazy. I'm in love. So, yeah. He ends up hitting me up later that night, and we end up talking literally all night. Like, I think I went to bed around 5 in the morning, and I knew he had to be out working by 7. Now, I'm not going to tell y'all the rest of the saga because that takes away the part 2 of the video. But just know, that's not where the story ends. I still don't know where the story has ended because, let's be real, me and him are still cool. And we still talk on a regular basis. So, that being said, y'all are just going to have to wait, and we're going to have to wait for him to give his recollection of events because he's not committed to staying completely private. I have, again, redacted his name for personal reasons, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, this is the time I was creeping with I'm not even going to say creeping. This is the time I was dating somebody for the plot. The plot being that I liked him and I fell in love in a gas station. But yeah, this is a peek into my love life or whatever you want to call it. And here's to the next episode. Okay, bye.